Wow! Wow! Cough Deluxe subscribed to Tier 1. They've subscribed for 20 months. What? Thanks for subscribing. I'm in the Matrix. I can't stop buying crypto.
I can't stop buying crypto.
I love the stuff. Thanks for subscribing. Good morning, Cool Nation. It's the early show. Oh, we got a new follower. Oh my God. We got a new follower, Jordan Wolf. Thanks for following. Now that sound alert is loud. I'm gonna turn that damn thing down. I'm in the Matrix with Neo and the gang. Lawrence Fishburne. He's there too. Morpheus and the architect is there. He's about to build me a house. Oh my God, it's still too loud. Ahoy. Let's see. Turn it down. We got a lot of sound alerts in here. You can check out the free sound. It's free. It's a free sound that anyone can play. And we have ones you can play for bits also. We have one about nacho. I forgot that I put that one on there. Let me see if I can find it in my... Let's see if I can find it in here. Oh, here's a good one. This is a good sound for being in the simulation. Simulation.
For you, I gain access.
Okay, I can hear that. La la da. Ba, 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 da. How Intensive subscribed at Tier 1. Subscribed for 9 months. And that's the length of time for having a baby. My child, the cool children. Drip it, stick it, lick it. That's Lick Strips, and that's over on the Cool Podcast, which is our Patreon show. Let's see.
For you, I gain access to the web.
That's our guy, the magic guy. This is good for the Matrix.
For you, I gain access to the web.
Gain access to the web. Okay. I'm in the Matrix. Oh no, I'm in a simulation. Now this, I don't know a whole lot about this topic, so this is one we're going to have to figure out as we go. Because I found out there's actually a lot of science behind it. There's actually a lot of science behind it, and it's not just a bunch of kooks and crazies talking about this stuff. It's actually the real deal, according to all the science guys and gals out there. So we're going to have to figure it out. And we're going to hear some kooks. And that's what it's all about. Some oddballs and some conspiracies and stuff. We got the bugs in here. Does he talk about simulation or something? I don't really know. God. Okay. I'm getting too comfortable here with the free sound, and sometimes you get some that are too crazy. Ow. We love it. It's his bit. Okay. We're not trying to take we're not trying to steal anyone's bit, and we've never done that. We've never done anything that anyone else has ever done before. Accidentally. It's always accidental. Okay, that's not as loud. Alright, here we go. Here we go, everybody. That's right, we're live. Live from inside the Matrix. Wow, it's the Cool Stream. We're back again, ready to do another show about some crazy stuff that's gonna blow your mind. So get ready, get set, it's time to do, it's the Cool Stream, everybody. We're ready to do a crazy weird show from inside the Matrix, the simulation. What are we gonna do? We're gonna figure out and get to the bottom of it and look at some weird stuff. Because that's what we do on the show. We're ready to blast off. My new favorite sound, the big explosion. Thanks for checking us out today, everybody. It's the early show. And we're going to get into it. We're going to get into some weird stuff, everybody. That's what we do on the show. We talk about the weirdest, craziest stuff on the web. And now we're inside the web, actually. It's pretty crazy.
For you, I gain access to the web.
I've gained access to the web, and I'm inside, and that's me, that's my brain, my consciousness being streamed live. That's what we're doing right now. Wow! Sale, man. Subscribe with Prime for 4 months. Thanks for subscribing. Hello to the Cool Nation. Thanks for subscribing. That's right, it's the Cool Stream. We're here once again to do another show. We're getting close to the end of the year. That's pretty cool, and you know what that means? It's our newest thing that we do to celebrate the 1 year around the globe. As we do our, coming up soon, we've got our double feature that's going to happen. So that's pretty cool. Be looking forward to that on the Cool schedule, the Cool calendar. We'll talk about what are some shows we're going to, upcoming episodes and things, and get us prepared for the new year and for Crimbus. And we're going to talk about the simulation, everybody. It's going to be crazy fun and cool.
For you, I gain access.
Okay. Whoa. I'm playing all the sounds today. It's the cool stream.
The cool stream.
Alright, I'm inside the Matrix. What am I gonna do? I should have more of a Matrix type of background. And the Matrix is glitching out and none of my things are showing up. Oh no! Well, let me just vamp a little bit, see if I can get this going. That's weird. Okay, the Matrix is trying to trick me every step of the way. What the hell's going on? Anyway, let me see if I can troubleshoot what's going on here. They don't want the information to get out, I guess. 32 answered questions about the Matrix. Is that showing up? What the hell is happening? I'm being shadow banned. Well, that's not good. Well, normally you'd have a... There we go. 12 asked questions about simulation theory, man. Oh, no. What were we talking about? Well, we were talking about what some of the shows that are going to be coming up. Talking about the double feature that's going to be happening around Christmas time is here. And we'll be doing the double feature. I've got the topics locked in, and that'll be on the 27th. And it won't be the 100th episode, which is too bad. Aww. If we'd been doing them every week, we'd be on the 100th episode. Isn't that crazy to think about? What's going on here? You can check out my free sound. But that's not what we want to look at. I don't know, we're having technical difficulties because we're in the simulation and the Matrix. Okay, we fixed it. Hoi! Alright, we're gonna do a double feature coming up, and then we're gonna do a show before that also. So we got three shows, including this one, before we end out the year, and hopefully nothing crazy happens, like a big cliffhanger. We'll see. But we're in the Matrix now. We're going to figure out if we are in a simulation also. Now, this is one I don't really know a whole lot about. I found a bunch of links and was looking at stuff and quickly realized that actually there's a lot of science behind this stuff, if you can believe that. The double feature, it's the longest episode that we'll ever do. It's where we do 2 topics in one show. It's a long show. So it'll be pretty cool. The simulation, man. What is it all about? Well, there's actually a lot of science behind it. That's something I didn't quite prepare for, because I thought it was mostly kooks and cranks that were talking about this stuff. And there's some of those. So we might actually learn something about something, which we usually don't. We learn about weird conspiracies that don't really, that are just weird. It's fun to read about, but now we're going to maybe learn about some different science stuff too. Are we living in a computer simulation? I don't know. Probably. This is from Vox. A simulation. Why, this computer scientist thinks reality might be a video game. Oh no! If you got one of your VR headsets, it definitely could seem like reality is a video game. And I've always thought if I ever got one of those VR things, and I'd be playing Skyrim, I'd never want to come out. I would be going crazy in there, and it'd probably be really scary. But anyway, we're not talking about VR, but I guess we kind of are. To go to my parents' house at 2, help my dad put up the Christmas lights. Well, that's just what you gotta do. And that's some ASMR crunch for you. If reality is a video game, then I'm Sonic. And I'm Mario. Okay, we're living in a computer simulation. The question seems absurd. A lot of people that think we are. An influential paper laid out the theory. The Oxford philosopher Nick Bostrom showed that at least one of the three possibilities is true. It's going to be a single feature. Here we got, and then listen up, we've got three possibilities here. Oh, this is cool. All human-like civilizations in the universe go extinct before they develop the technological capacity to create simulated realities. I think that's where we're headed, if I'm being honest here. Number 2, if any civilizations do reach this phase of technological maturity, none of them will bother to run simulations. Interesting. Advanced civilizations would have the ability to create many, many simulations, and that means there are far more simulated worlds than non-simulated ones. And this is a philosopher that came up with this. So, those are guys that just sit around and think about stuff all the time. And what kind of evidence does he even have for this? We can't know which of these is the case, Bostrom concludes. But they're all possible, and the third option might even be the most probable outcome. It's a difficult argument to wrap your head around, but it makes a certain amount of sense. Okay, of course, Elon Musk thinks we're living in a simulation. This other guy, computer scientist, published a book, The Simulation Hypothesis. It explores Bostrom's argument in great detail, traces the path from today's technology to what he calls the simulation point, the moment at which we could realistically build a matrix. What? I know nothing about computer scientists, but this idea that we're all characters in advanced civilization's video game is, well, kind of awesome. I reached out to him to break it down. Highly edited transcript follows.
Elon Musk thinks it's almost certain that we are living in a computer simulation.
There's a 1 in billions chance that this is based reality.
He says that humans are basically some advanced
we trust
version
this
of
guy.
The Sims. Yes, that idea sounds
Elon
pretty
Musk
absurd,
thinks it's true.
but we shouldn't
Probably
just write
isn't.
it off. People used to think the solar system worked like this, but almost 2,000 years before Galileo proved
to think
it
that we had a flat Earth,
Aristarchus
too.
of Samos posited the exact same crazy idea. Reality is probably not as it seems. Musk is echoing a paper on this theory by philosopher Nick Bostrom. His argument goes like this.
Called 40 years ago, we had Pong, like 2 rectangles and a dot.
30 years after Pong, we got The Sims.
Now,
30 years
40
ago,
later,
we had 30 years ago, we had Steve Jobs, Johnny Cash, and I can't remember the other one. But now we got no Cash, no Jobs, and no other thing. Okay. Probably should have waited till I figured out what the last one was.
Photorealistic 3D simulations with millions of people playing simultaneously, and it's getting better every year.
Whoa.
So let's go about 10,000 years into the future. It's possible that when we
Bill
get there,
Gates.
civilization will be entirely
don't have
gone
any
because there
gates.
is a ceiling to our advancement.
Lock the gates.
Maybe it's because of global warming or self-replicating robots.
If civilization stops advancing,
No cash.
then that
That's
may be
it.
due to some calamitous event that erases civilization.
But another possibility is that if we keep
What is this little
advancing
guy?
and assuming everything in the physical
What
world
if the world was
can be simulated,
Minecraft and we're all just a bunch
eventually
of cubes?
we'll simulate ourselves. Every synapse in the entire human brain for everyone on Earth. Getting enough computing power
That
to run
seems
billions
hard
of ancestor
do.
simulations could be a problem, but Bostrom thinks we'd send tiny self-replicating robots to other planets, which would turn the planet into a huge computer, and some of the simulations would start making their own simulations. In this scenario, there are billions of universes that are indistinguishable from our own. That means that chances are, we are in one of the simulated universes. And given the
What
other
the hell for? That's what I want to know. Make sure Jim Dildos is okay. It's the basis for the Emoji Movie. They haven't really touched on why the hell we would even do that. If we're all a bunch of computers, what's the point? Why would someone do that? If it's not really real, unless they're using our, well, if we're in the Matrix, like the movie, we're all catatonic and they're using the goop inside of us to power a computer or something. Is that what happened in that movie? I don't know. That is a crazy movie. They do all kinds of stuff that's kind of like body horror, where they stab people with stuff. It was a lot more horrific than I remembered when I watched the first 15 minutes of it. Why do I feel love? Sausage Party is about a simulation. Pretend I know absolutely nothing about simulation hypothesis. Well, that's me. I don't know anything. So this should help. Rizwan Verk. Simulation hypothesis is the modern equivalent of an idea that's been around for a while. It's an idea that the physical world that we live in, including the Earth, the rest of the physical universe, is part of a computer simulation. You can think of it as a high-resolution or high-fidelity video game in which we are all characters, and the best way to understand it within Western culture is the movie The Matrix. No crap! Which many people have seen. Many people are talking about it more and more. About The Matrix. And they're going to do another one, I think. It's become a cultural phenomenon. In the movie, Keanu Reeves plays the character Neo. He meets a guy named Morpheus and accidentally Greek god of dreams and take the blue pill, blah, blah, blah. We all know about that. We're living in a simulated universe. There are a lot of mysteries in physics that are better explained by the simulation hypothesis than by what would be a material hypothesis. The truth is that we simply don't understand our reality, and it's much more likely than not that we're in some kind of simulated universe. Now it's much more sophisticated video game than the games we produce. I'll say, this is a video game. I want to be able to fly around like Spider-Man. And why do dreams happen if we're also for simulated? Couldn't they just make that? There's a lot of things that they could do away with, I think. This is a very bad simulation. Maybe do like in SimCity. When it comes to all the disasters and stuff, you know, you can open up SimCity and turn off, global warming, turn off viral pandemics, turn off all the stuff that makes everyone kill each other. And I think this would be a much better simulation. What we need to do... Okay, now here we go. What we need to do, we need to hack into the simulation, alright? And instead of disabling it, like they did in The Matrix, where they tried to destroy it, we need to make it better from the inside. And we need to hack into it so that everything is cool and peaceful and good. Okay, that's what I think. Now they're talking about quantum indeterminacy. This is too smart for me to understand, but Schrodinger's cat, it's an infamous example. Let's turn up the simulation to 11. And the physicist Edward Schrödinger theorized the cat would be in a box with some radioactive material. There's a 50% chance the cat is dead and a 50% chance the cat is alive. It's a cat. So the cat is in a box with radioactive material. I forgot that part of it. It would be dead because of all the radiation in there. We open the box and reveal that the cat is alive or dead. Quantum physics tells us the cat is both alive and dead at the same time until someone opens the box. What's in the box? The cardinal rule is the universe renders only that which needs to be observed. If the tree falls in the woods, would we hear it? If it falls in the simulation, Schrodinger's cat is Garfield. Would it have eaten the lasagna? The Garfield lasagna. Schrodinger's cat. History of video games. Here's his book, The Simulation Hypothesis. We are in a video game. MIT computer science guys is the person who came up with this. I'll bring up of course, we also have Occam's razor. He needs to sharpen that thing up and trim his beard off. He just doesn't seem like he uses his razor very much. And also John Wheeler. He's one of the last physicists who worked with Albert Einstein. And he said that physics was initially thought to be about the study of physical objects. Everything's reduced to particles. This is why I call it a Newtonian model. Then we discovered quantum physics and realized that everything was a field of probabilities, wasn't actual physical objects. That was the second wave in Wheeler's career. So physics makes everything seem crazy weird because we're all made up of little binaries of particles and stuff. We're not really there. But, okay, and I'm smarter than all these people, and I can figure this out. Okay, let's get in. I don't know how much I can read today. When we notice we've got an ad blocker, so we're gonna have to turn that off, I guess. And we've already read enough about this. Elon Musk, he's already talking about it. The simulation argument. Nick Bostrom. He was interviewed about the simulation argument. The AI podcast. So let's check this. Let's check it out from the man himself. This is a long podcast. He looks like a simulation. You look like a damn simulation. You look like a sim. Oh crap. I just closed my window. Oh no. The simulation is breaking down before our very eyes. Okay. I'm not on my game today. I'm not sure about this. I'm not sure about this whole simulation thing. What is it? Is it real? And can I ever get this thing back to work again? What is going on? Simulation is glitching out and causing me to not do very good on my show today. And also because I closed my window out, so now it's not working anymore. There we go.
Following is a conversation with Nick Bostrom, a philosopher at the University of Oxford and the director of the Future of Humanity Institute. He has worked on fascinating and important ideas in existential risk, simulation hypothesis, human enhancement ethics, and the risks of superintelligent AI systems, including in his book, Superintelligence. I can see talking to Nick multiple times in this podcast, many hours each time, because he has done some incredible work in artificial intelligence, in technology space, science, and really philosophy in general. But we have to start somewhere. This conversation was recorded before the outbreak of the coronavirus pandemic that both Nick and I'm sure, will have a lot to say about next time we speak.
Uh-oh.
And perhaps that is for the best, because the deepest lessons can be learned only in retrospect, when the storm is past. I do recommend you read many of his papers on the topic of existential risk, including the technical report titled Global Catastrophic Risks Survey that he co-authored with
Boring.
At the risk of asking the Beatles to play Yesterday or the Rolling Stones to play Satisfaction, let me ask you the basics. What is the simulation hypothesis?
That we are living in a computer simulation.
What is a computer simulation? How are we supposed to even think about that?
Well, so the hypothesis is meant to be understood in a literal sense. Not that we can kind of metaphorically view the universe as an information processing physical system, but that there is some advanced civilization who built a lot of computers, and that what we experience is an effect of what's going on inside one of those computers, so that the world around us, our own brains, everything we see and perceive and think and feel would exist because
yesterday
this computer is
running certain simulated programs. In a computer.
Do you think of this computer as something?
That means even the Beatles were a simulation. How did that work? I don't know. This guy doesn't sound very smart to me anymore. He sounds like one of these cranks. Aliens built a computer and we're inside of it. I mean, I get it, you know. Physics is crazy weird. To try to figure out what's going on with all those little particles and stuff. It's hard. and what's going on out there. But if it turns out to be a computer game, then we'll just figure it out when we get there.
Similar to the computers today, these deterministic sort of Turing machine type things. Is that what we're supposed to imagine, or we're supposed to think of something more like a quantum mechanical system, something much bigger, something much more complicated, something much more mysterious from our current perspective? So
the ones we have today would do fine. I mean, bigger, certainly. You'd need more
size.
memory and more processing power. I don't think anything else.
Just think about it like we're inside of a big, gigantic Xbox. People who went to MIT are cranks. Think about it like we're in a big, gigantic PS5, and this is Fortnite. I'm going to get out my big hammer and start smashing stuff.
Would be required. Now, it might well be that they
Get out
do
my
have
big laser gun.
Maybe they have quantum computers and other things that would give them even more oomph. It seems kind of plausible, but I don't think it's a necessary assumption in order to get to the conclusion that a technologically mature civilization would be able to create these kinds of computer simulations with conscious beings inside them.
So do you think the simulation hypothesis is an idea that's most useful in philosophy, computer science, physics? Sort of where do you see it having valuable kind of starting point in terms of the thought experiment of it?
Is it useful? I guess it's more informative and interesting and maybe important.
It's
but
interesting.
It's not designed to be useful for something else.
Well, okay, interesting, sure. But
it's just interesting. That's all it is. It's just interesting. Think about it. It is kind of like, what if we were smoking, you were getting stoned and thinking about, whoa, I live in a simulation. Wouldn't the computer not want you to figure out that you were in the computer, and then it would start erasing stuff and shadow banning people? If you're getting too close to the truth, it would just prevent you from doing that. Or maybe when you figure out the simulation, you win the big game. It's kind of like being in a video game. If you can figure out the simulation, then you win. Yay!
Welcome to Open Your Reality. I've put together a whopper of a video for you today.
Whopper.
It's
Love
my
whoppers.
answers to the 12 most commonly asked questions about simulation theory. I see these same questions come up again and again in the comments section. So I thought,
algorithms
why
are
not
getting
put them all
crushed.
together in one video and make it a sort of podcast style at that. You're now seeing a few of the fancy video clips I put in all my videos. But when I go into the question and answer segment of this video, the screen will show mostly interstellar space. That's because a video of this length would take me over 20 hours to edit. So in this video, and in some future videos, I am going to spend less time on the video portion. However, the music and narration will be the same high standards as always. In this way, I foresee being able to put out a couple of extra videos per week, which is good for everyone. You, me, and the YouTube algorithm. And quickly, if you haven't subscribed to my channel yet, please do so to be alerted to future videos from me. Thank you.
You just had to put that in at the beginning.
Without further banter, are you ready to take the red pill and dive deep into some simulation argument philosophy? Here we go.
Do it.
Strap in, Dorothy, because Kansas is going bye-bye. Now, I'm going to list each
down the
question
rabbit hole
and then give my answer. That's how this video is going to work. The questions are in no particular order of importance. There are 12, and at any time in the video, feel free to drop me a comment if you have questions. I'll do my best to answer everyone. Question
a lot of
1.
questions.
What is simulation theory?
There we go. We're going to keep
The
coming up to
simulation
this question
hypothesis,
over
or
and over.
simulation theory proposes that all of reality, including the Earth and the entire universe that we know, are in fact an artificial simulation, and most likely a computer simulation. And for those who are spiritual, and believe in other dimensions, universes, and realities. Those two are part of the same simulation. So, in this sense, all of reality is computed, and everything that ever happens is recorded in that computer. Even our consciousness is computer generated. Yep. I know it sounds a bit of a downer, but cheer up, because as long as the simulation is being generated, your consciousness is just about immortal. By the way, Tom Campbell, one of the forerunners of the simulation argument, calls the entire computer simulating our reality the LCS, or Larger Consciousness System. So, if I mention LCS later in the video, you'll know what I mean. Question 2. Who first proposed simulation theory?
Does that mean that God is sitting at the computer, sitting at his laptop, and he's got the large consciousness simulator? Are people controlling the simulation, or is it just running on its own? That's a good question. Maybe that'll be a question later on in this video. And can we delete something from the simulation? That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about when I talk about doing hacking. We need to hack in. We need to start deleting things from the simulation.
Back to the beginning, you could
like
say
all the
bad
stuff.
He used his consciousness to search through the universe and realized it was just an illusion
Google
called Maya.
And
of course, he didn't actually know what a simulation was, so he used different language. In the modern era of Western civilization, a version of the simulation hypothesis was first theorized as part of a philosophical argument on the part of René Descartes, the famous French philosopher.
He didn't even know what a
from the
computer was.
1600s. And then later, in the 1980s, by the futurist Hans Moravec. The philosopher Nick Bostrom further expanded on the argument in 2003, examining the probability of reality being a simulation. In that same year, Tom Campbell wrote My Big Toe,
My Big Toe,
which offers a very detailed and poignant explanation of simulation theory. Campbell posits that simulation theory can explain all the happenings in our reality,
check that out. My
including
Big
life,
Toe theory,
death, the paranormal, quantum physics, and a lot more. But even back in the 1990s, the classic book, The Holographic Universe, postulated that our entire universe was likely a hologram.
I gotta check that.
To me, this was the forerunner of modern-day simulation theory. So the thought of our entire universe being a simulation was in my mind years before it became popular.
It's losing your job. The frick?
Question 3. How likely is it that we actually live in a simulated universe? The answer to this question depends on who you ask. Of course, people in the streets will have all different opinions.
People in the streets.
But what do the experts
Gonna start the
who
How
study
Intensive
our
Patreon.
universe think?
All right, that's what you do when goes down. From one person who had lost a job to another, started the Howie Patreon and talk about pizza and stuff. Okay, we're talking about simulation theory. This is My Big Toe, Thomas Campbell, the guy I just talked about in the video. So all these videos are providing us the information that we need. The Howie Patreon. Oh no. Let's see. My Big Toe. He began researching altered states of consciousness at the Monroe Laboratories, and these guys are probably getting effed up on different hallucination drugs. Getting instruments in the laboratory. They were drug-free consciousness pioneers. Okay. And they had to make sure they said that, because that's the first thing I thought of. It's the 70s, and we're trying to figure out altered states of consciousness. Well, the quickest way to get there is to take some drugs. So he's been exploring consciousness. He's a professional physicist dedicated to pushing the frontiers of technology. Tom is the TC physicist, described in Bob Monroe's second book, Far Journeys, and has been a serious explorer of the frontiers of reality, mind, consciousness, and psychic phenomenon. My Big Toe is a model of existence, and reality that's based directly on Campbell's scientific research and first-hand experience. I'm going to check this book out. My Big Toe represents the results and conclusions 30 years of scientific study. There's no belief system, dogma, creed, or unusual assumptions at the root of my big toe. Just trying to think of a joke there. Something at the root of my big toe. Might want to get that checked out. I don't know. My Big Toe. I'm going to check this book out. Support MBT. My Big Toe. The Big Toe Trilogy describes the nature of our larger reality. Complete theory of consciousness. Derives more fundamental science that directly answers the most pressing problems and paradoxes. We know all about that. Let's check out some of these slides. We got a presentation. Reality 102. How does it work and why should I care? My Big Toe. VR. We call the physical universe is generated by an intelligent probability-based simulation. Okay. Now we're getting somewhere. Not deterministic, matter-based, bottoms-up process. I'm talking about me on Saturday night. The metal monolith. What? Oh crap. The monolith disappeared. Maybe that was part of the simulation. Cool news. What's news? Okay, well, save that one in my bookmarks. Doing some chores. Feel like dropping in at random times is the best way to learn. We've not really gotten too far in figuring out what all this is. As usual, this is way over my head. My big toe. VR. Consciousness is fundamental. All else is virtual. Okay? Primordial consciousness exists. Then it evolved and become what it is today. Conjecture. The larger consciousness system, the big computer, God's laptop. The chores episode. That'd be fun. Evolved through emergent complexity, operating on simple, initially random. That's so random. Recursive processes and cells, fractals and stuff. Its continued evolution is the driving force, the purpose. VR Entropy Reduction Trainer, our universe. BDB, the evolving simulation, eventually transitions from the most deterministic with random functions. First, we start with the assumption of fundamental consciousness emerging from random processes. And allow this stuff and do all the other stuff. Consciousness creates and computes the VR, populates the VR with individual units of consciousness. IUOC, players. These people love games. Do some chores. I'm gonna have to, I don't know if I can figure this out. I'm gonna have to read My Big Toe, the PMR. The Xeno Effect. That sounds like a cool movie. Matrix 5, The Xeno Effect. We're in a quantum state with an average decay time. We'll do stuff. Okay, it's not as cool as what the name sounded like. There's VR. Chaos is a signature characteristic of VR mechanics. The chaos theory. The Fermi paradox. Man. This is crazy. Effects are the view inside the VR. What does that mean? Are we all wearing VR headsets? The cool stereo. Are we wearing... I don't understand the VR part of it. If we're consciousness, then what is the VR part of it? If we're not a physical... We're just a brain. Looking around. And that's the VR, I guess, is that we can look around. I don't understand. This is too weird. This is too weird. All right, let's just end the show. It's too weird. Richard Dawkins. I can't think of Richard Dawkins without that tweet that he did about the guy. I saw a homeless man with a sign. Okay, well, check that tweet out. Richard Dawkins about the homeless man with a sign. Okay. My head's in the cloud. That's right, because we're in a simulation. All of our heads are in the damn cloud. And I hope they have a backup. I hope the cloud's backed up, because if the big computer crashed, if God got a blue screen, then we're all done. They'd have to restart the simulation. That'd be crazy. Okay, now what? Let's check out some videos. Let's spice things up a little bit. This is kind of the answers to the 12 questions. Maybe we'll come back to that one. That one does actually answer some questions. So thanks to that, open your reality.
Hey there, guys. How is it going? My name is Sumit Chatterjee from the Flow Zone Academy.
The Flow Zone.
Flow State Coach, which means that I help you feel better and perform better. Today I want to speak about simulation
Speak on that.
theory. Are we living in a simulation? I've constantly wondered this question. And even as I was writing my book, I got really interested in this idea of being watched, or this voyeur effect, where we fear being watched. You know, you can talk about it in different ways, different schools of thought. You know, the panopticon, you can go all the way into studying the scientific world and quantum theory. It's really an interesting concept.
It's crazy.
If you've ever heard of the double slit experiment, everybody likes to talk about this.
Never heard of it.
So essentially, what it is photons are fired through this narrow slit, and when the camera's on it, when it's being watched,
No, I've heard of
the
that
photons shift.
in physics
change.
class.
It just goes to show you that when we observe something, it changes the thing that we are observing. When we're watching something,
Schrodinger's cat.
the photons are responding very differently. All right, so when we're making eye contact with another person, this is a photon exchange happening. How does that relate to simulation theory? Well, the simulation theory is this idea that we're living in a virtual reality.
Every
right? A simulation
action
of
has
some
an
sort.
equal opposite
Some people have
reaction.
this idea, but we can't know
That's
for
Einstein.
sure because when you take into consideration the
Frickin' TV
idea
show.
of infinity, it is
Bug lane
infinite,
simulation
meaning
theory.
it's not countable.
Devs. Check that out.
So we could very well be
We're not watching any
zoomed
Bug
out,
Man.
zoomed in a particular reality, right? A lot of different
Bum,
types of
bum,
thoughts.
bum,
But
bum.
if we're a tiny molecule, this whole entire universe was a tiny molecule in another whole entire universe. Now, there's also something called
Or it's kind of like a Men
the
in Black.
holographic principle,
When the
or hologram.
when the universe is
Basically-
inside of the little marble at the end, and then the big alien is playing marbles. That could be what it is.
It's stating that we're
You
living in
never
a
know.
hologram. That we are just
We're gonna
these
get
light
into that
particles.
hologram universe.
Like I am light. It's a kind of spiritual thing to say that, right? It's a very
The
metaphysical
light
thing to say,
language.
but it's actually maybe much more related to the physical that we don't know about, right? And it's a theory. It's about space-time. The holographic principle states the
Space-time.
entropy of ordinary mass, not just black holes. Ordinary mass is proportional to the surface area and not the volume. So
What?
the volume itself is illusory. It's an illusion. And that the universe is really a hologram. Okay? So there's a boundary. It's more about the surface area, not the volume. What we perceive as three-dimensional reality is stored on a 2D surface. This includes time, which means
What the
that
hell?
literally everything that we see, hear, experience is an illusion. A lot of the mystics talk about this.
crap.
We're living in a waking dream. Maybe this is Inception. Maybe we're in a dream inside of a dream
Inception.
inside of a dream. Now, these are all thought experiments, mental masturbation, I know, but it's important
Ew.
to be able to perceive and think about deep, profound topics. Since the 1990s, some physicists have suggested that our reality is this 3D projection. Like we're projectors. We're just projections on a 2D universe.
Projectors.
Nowadays, we find that there is
It's
some
all making
evidence
sense.
suggesting this. We're just living in a huge hologram, the size of a universe, an infinite hologram. Now, isn't that wild? What if dimensions existed? Interdimensional space travel is happening all the time around us, but we just cannot see it. I've been fascinated by this kind of stuff. When you start to notice things, you start to notice patterns in the world. When you're in the flow state, what happens is you start to get pattern recognition. So you start to notice that there's similar patterns happening here, 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 and here. And then you're able to create a system. It's almost like you're a scientist without actually having to do the data analysis.
Not doing any science.
It's like you're just looking, you're using your observational skills to notice what signs and synchronicities are out there and merging them together. When we notice the unpredictability of the world, unpredictability is also a flow state trigger. Okay, unpredictability, complexity, novelty, all these are flow state triggers. So the world is at an unpredictable phase right now, which means we're going also very into our flow state.
All right, I'm in the flow state. Every time I'm doing this show, I've got to loosen up and do all this talking and stuff. So when you go out there and you're looking at the world and you're noticing everything, and you're getting triggered, sometimes you notice things. Sometimes you notice some glitches and things that aren't quite right, and maybe the computer messed up and is showing us glitches in the Matrix. What? Bailey is going to tell us about some glitches in the Matrix.
Road trip in 2011 between
This is
Minnesota
from
and
Reddit.
Oregon. I was 11 years old. We were driving through North Dakota, on our way there looking for a hotel at nearly midnight that still had space. We drive down a dark road that had fields on either side. After about 20 minutes, my dad figures we had gotten bad directions and thought it best to turn tail and head back into town. About 10 minutes on the way back, we see a bright neon vacancy sign that 100% wasn't there before. This was a straight road that was pitch black, so I know that hotel wasn't there before.
What?
Well, since it was late and the only one with rooms left, that was where we stayed. The room was small and smelled of dust and musk. My sister and I had to share the bed. Everything was so dusty, and we kept finding dead moths everywhere. I don't mean 2 or 3, I mean dozens of them. The shower didn't work, and the water that came from the sink looked like watered-down coffee. Luckily, we had bottled water. I barely slept because I kept hearing creaking and moaning noises. Every time I checked outside, it was pitch black, but didn't seem like it was windy. I did wonder, however, why it was so dark out. Surely I would be able to see the residual light from the signs, right? I eventually passed out from exhaustion. We woke up and checked out by 6 a.m. to get good time. I was still half asleep, but when we got to town for breakfast, my dad talked to the waitress about the worst hotel we stayed in, and gave the street name. She said that street was just farms and farmhouses. No hotels.
What?
We checked the map, and she was right. No hotels there. So my dad decided to drive down that road, even though it took us about 30 minutes out of our route. Sure enough, no hotel.
What?
Not even a farmhouse. Just one rundown barn halfway collapsed amongst the fields.
They were sleeping in a barn the whole time. Those idiots. It's like a ghost story. It's creepy. Simulation. It's a Twilight Zone.
When I was a kid, about 9 years old, my parents and I got stuck in a mountain in the middle of a snowstorm. We were there on holiday and had rented a cabin nearby. I thought it was cool, but my parents did not, as we were legitimately stuck and quite in danger of freezing as our car died as well.
Oh, crap.
An older man in his, 50s happened to come down that same road in a much more snow-fit car, and he offered us to stay at his place and tow our car in the morning. We accepted and went with him. He, his wife, and his 2 kids lived in a frankly gorgeous house only about 10 minutes further up the road, on the only side road that led away from it at all. It even had a little sign where the bend turned off with the address. Anyway, we have dinner with them, then me and their kids went to watch TV. All was fine until it was time to go to bed.
Until everyone started glitching out.
The kids, 2 boys a little older than me, and slept in my parents' room. Sometime in the night, I woke up and needed a pee, so I woke up my mom and went downstairs with her to the bathroom. I was a bit scared alone in a strange house.
Scared.
On the way back up, I spotted the host
Maybe
parents
ghosts
in
are
the
in
kitchen.
the simulation too.
It was dimly lit, and they were chopping something up.
Oh no.
I don't know why I tried to get a closer look, but what I saw was a foot.
What?
A human foot, and they were chopping away at it. My mom immediately dragged me up to the bedroom and told me it was nothing and that I saw it wrong. But she also put the desk chair in the room right in front of the door and put a bunch of stuff on it.
What the hell?
She told me it was fine and that I should sleep, but I couldn't, and neither did she. My father told her she was crazy when she told him the story. Come morning, they cooked us a huge breakfast, toast, jam, bacon, everything. Oh God,
They
the
were
bacon.
eating
Neither
people.
me nor my mother touched anything meat-related. And when my father saw we were genuinely freaked out, he didn't either. The guy gave us a lift back to the car, jump-started it for us, and we went back to our own rented cabin. My parents discussed what had happened at length, and eventually my dad agreed to call the police.
This was a glitch.
So they call. They get a police person on the line and explain what happened, give the details, etc. The police person
Ghost
tells
story.
them that there is no house near what we described
Okay.
at all.
These are just
That
ghost
along that
stories.
road, the forests are too thick to even be able to build. My dad eventually gives up, and on the way back home, we pass the same bend on the same road. And there's nothing there.
What?
This is one of the 2 roads up that mountain, and there's no way that we confuse them, as this is a single lane and the other one is a dual. Yet, there are no turns off of it. No little sign with the address.
The heck?
Funnily enough, none of the 3 of us could remember what the sign had said either. So ultimately, we just left. That's the last time we rented a mountain cabin. And my mother refused to speak about the holiday as soon as we headed back home. My dad still thinks she and I are crazy.
Okay, yeah, this is just a ghost story. And both stories were about we went out to the woods, we stayed in a creepy place, and then it actually wasn't there. That's a true story. So, that's proof of glitches, I guess. Are we living in a matrix? Let's see, do I have any more glitch videos? Okay, let's see. Glitching in the Matrix. There's a lot of these videos that prove we're in a simulation. What's your creepiest glitch in the Matrix? The weirdest glitch. Oh, there's a bunch of these. Okay, let's see what this one is. 5 evidence.
Do we live in a Matrix-style computer simulation? Logic would suggest not. But brace yourself for a video that's going to try and convince you otherwise, you little scamps. Simulation theory is becoming an increasingly prevalent hypothesis, especially among those of us of the post-internet generation. And there are more and more photos and video clips circling around the net that might just prove the theory is true. This is real evidence proving we live in a computer simulation. Before we begin, make sure to hit the like button, subscribe to our channel, and click the notification bell for more amazing videos every day. With that being said, let's begin.
Baxopedia.
Number 5. DNA computer virus.
What?
If we were existing in a simulation, then it would stand to reason that everything within that simulation is, essentially, lines of computer code. Recent developments in biohacking have shown that this is pretty much the case, and is evidence that there's very little difference between biological and artificial processes. Ever since the first DNA genome was mapped in 1977, the technology has been significantly developed to make it increasingly easy to take a sample and fully decipher genome sequences in a very short amount of time. That first genome was of a simple bacterium, but now entire DNA strands of humans are interpreted every single day. The computers used to do this are increasingly complex, but one thing their designers haven't done is protect them against attacks coming from the data they are interpreting. What if therefore DNA could be rewritten to contain a virus to infect these systems? Not only would it jeopardize all of the results that were generated, but it would also prove that DNA can be read just like any other computer code. It's something that would be unexpected if we were truly biological, but would be virtually inevitable if we actually exist within a simulation. One group of researchers believe they have managed to successfully do this already. They've found a way to sequence malicious code into a genome, so when it's read by a gene sequencer, it can infect the software used to analyze it, and ultimately take over the computer that it's operating on. Of course, this isn't as simple as reprogramming a silicon chip, but requires creating readable DNA to host the code. Sequencers work by mixing DNA with chemicals.
So I was talking about the stock video hackers. They're hacking into the DNA. It's talking about putting a virus code into DNA, and then the computer that's reading it gets a virus. What does that have to do with the simulation? That's like the old thing where they said that you could get a virus and it would make the CD-ROM spin so fast that it would set your computer on fire, I guess.
That bind to the constituent parts and release different types of light, which can then be analyzed. So much data is contained within DNA that this process is done in chunks, taking batches at a time. So it was also necessary to include the code in a relatively low number of blocks to ensure it remained intact when it was sequenced. Despite the complexities, the team managed to successfully do it, and even though they had to purposefully install a hole in the operating software that their simple code could exploit, the principle stood. We may be a way off legitimate DNA-based hacking attempts, but the fact that it's possible means that we very well could be living in a simulation. Now it's time for the odd...
Really? Really? I don't understand what they're talking about. I do think it's interesting that we're talking about how DNA is just like a computer and how the biological processes are like computers, but we freaking invented computers. So of course all the stuff that we have, like a computer, is just electricity, which is, comes from the sky or something. It's all ones and zeros. It's just the thing that we invented. So it's not like, like of course the things that we invent are gonna seem like the things that are in the physical world, because that's pretty much all we have to go off of. Okay, so just because a computer seems like our DNA doesn't mean that it's a simulation, This is getting too meta for me. I'm not into that meta stuff. I hope I sound very smart right now. I don't, I'm sure. Just walking by our computer and hearing it go, and thinking, oh well, electricity comes from the sky. Odd topic. Okay, this is not the glitch that I was
Just
thinking
take a look
about.
at this
All right, here we
crazy
go.
photo. Surely there is no explanation for this other than us all having to come to terms with the fact that the world is nothing but a computer simulation, and this is some kind of terrifying glitch. Because why else would 7 tornadoes turn up at once? Unfortunately, it's hard to properly grasp what's going on here, as we have no footage, only the photo. But if it's real, it's a crazy one to understand. We found the photo online, and frustratingly, we have no context. It was posted with no explanation. Do you know where this photo is from? We would love to have more info on it, so please let us know. Comment down below with the hashtag
Definitely let me know.
And let us know your opinion.
We
in relation
found a
to what we just showed on
photoshopped
screen.
photo.
That said, let's keep things moving. Number 4, our own ability at creating simulations. Simulations that we create are improving in their complexity and how realistic they look. Now that virtual reality is a technology more easily accessible to have at home, people are exploring whole new worlds from their living rooms. You only need to see someone playing with one of the devices to understand how successfully it tricks their brain into thinking
chemistry
it's real.
in VR.
So what are the technologies like this going to be like in 50 years' time?
It's going to be crazy.
One branch of the theory says that if we ourselves are able to create immersive simulation, then what's so to say that another species hasn't done it already? Or maybe our descendants have built a simulation and are running it to understand their ancestors. An example of how far we've come is an experiment from the Harvard-Smithsonian Center for Astrophysics in 2014. They connected 8,000 CPUs and ran a simulation of a universe. By incorporating equations and observations that have been made over centuries of astronomical data, they were able to run the simulation for 3 months and recreate 13 billion years worth of evolution for a universe that's 350 million light years across. This isn't, of course, ready to run a simulation to the level of detail needed to account for billions of people on different planets. But as computer processes become more advanced, it'll one day be possible. This theory is where the notorious probability of us living in a simulation as 50-50 comes from. Not only is it highly likely that we'll one day be able to create such a thing, but it's probably been done countless times before. Furthermore, there are some that believe these simulations have multiple layers to them, so the entities that created our simulation could themselves be in one too. That might seem complicated, but think of it like this. One of the most popular games of recent times is
The Sims. That's short for simulation. Okay, this video is kind of funny. Let's get some laughs in here.
What's good with y'all niggas, man? It's Jew, you feel me? I'm back with another video. Right now, look in this video, you feel me? This is the second video of the day. In this video, I'm finna be talking about how simulation will make you a glitch in the motherfucking Matrix, you feel me? My fault, I'm touching the camera a lot. Simulation will make you a glitch in this fucking Matrix, you feel me? You are literally gonna be a glitch in the Matrix. You are literally gonna, you feel me? You're gonna see all of this shit for what it is, you feel me? When you want simulation, when you get far in your journey, you will see all of this shit for what it is. Literally. You will see everything for what it is. You're going to have information constantly coming to you daily. Your thoughts going to be flowing daily. You're just going to have shit coming to you daily.
Crazy.
And that's what happens when you're on simulation. You your higher self. You in your higher chakras. When you hit where I'm at, 90 days, you're going to be in your higher chakras, my nigga. You're going to have shit coming to you daily. You're going to be thinking about shit daily. You feel me? You're going to be... You gonna fucking be, you feel me? You gonna be that alpha god, my nigga. You gonna be the glitch in the Matrix, bro. Literally, you're gonna be the glitch in the Matrix for what it is, my nigga. And it's a good ass feeling. It's a good ass
feels good. You know, it feels better. Hey, November's coming to a close. Okay, you know it feels even better because when November's over. And you can do all the stuff that you were wanting to do.
Hello everyone, and welcome back to another video. Today, we bring you recorded footage of glitches in the Matrix. Let's dive right in. This car got stuck in mid-air. How is that even possible?
Did someone tell me how?
What the hell?
Fire burning inside of a tree.
What? It's gotta be a glitch. Boom, 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 boom,
boom. This bird is lagging in real life. It's almost as if he's stuck in midair.
This bird is glitched out.
This gotta be the coolest magic trick I've ever seen.
Whoa. What?
When the helicopter's blade rotation is the same as the video's frame rate.
Oh, that's cool. That's a glitch, though.
Where did they fall from? And how did they even get up there?
What? What's he talking about? Oh, what the hell? That was weird. That's a glitch.
We all know about the invisible horse glitch, right?
What the hell? That's a glitch.
These never cease to amaze me.
What? That's a glitch. Oh. It's a painting.
Real quick, before we move on to the next clip, I just want to quickly remind you that we'll be uploading videos like this every 3 days. So if you want to see more, consider subscribing, and enjoy the rest of the video.
Tap the bell icon.
This cat is lagging with 1000 ping.
Neat TV. This is neat. That cow's weird. He's lagging.
The matching colors, and the perfect spot where the cow stops. This has to be a glitch in the Matrix.
I'll say. That's crazy.
This guy synced his jumps with the waves on a boat, and it looks really weird.
Whoa. That's a TikTok right there. That's
when the
cool.
simulation starts glitching.
What?
This player is exploiting a glitch the developers haven't patched yet. I don't know how he's doing that, but it's smooth as a baby's bottom.
He's got a cigarette on his nose. Okay. That's a glitch in the Matrix. I can tell you how that's done. You need to check out some magic videos. Weirdest glitch in the Matrix. This is from Reptilian Hunter. We hate the reptilians. This is the weirdest glitch. I can do the trick. Check this out. It's a glitch. A Reptilian Hunter. Well, they use a little tiny string that you can't see, and it's connected to their fingers, and they're using it to make things look like they're floating. Those damn magicians. They're doing the devil's magic. It's unholy. What? This is a glitch. That's a glitch, if I ever seen one. How about this one? This is a glitch in the Matrix.
I can't see the license plate, can you?
Someone's under the influence.
Hey, we've got a
glitched in the Matrix. Call the Matrix police.
We're just south of Jackson, and there's a car driving right in the middle of the median, and the grass is, and they're swerving like they're going to go over into the other lane.
It's just a bad driver. They forgot where the road was.
Oncoming traffic. And
heck of a ride, to be honest.
This is a glitch
I
too.
really can't complain. Yeah, I was.
This is a glitch. He's not even moving. It's a glitch. Oh, then he moved. Here's another glitch. It's a glitch. NBA player lagging. What? He kept going, even though there wasn't anyone there. Even Shaq is lagging out. It's all these basketball. There's a lot of basketball glitches. The blades aren't moving. Those are some glitches in the Matrix. Now, let's get to something else. This is, we're talking about the Matrix, and we're talking about simulation. Let's talk about the holographic universe. The CIA recently released some information about the holographic universe. We're going to check out some of the documents.
No, a bomb didn't go off. I just woke up and I'm excited because I'm going to dive into this bad boy right here. I have the documents.
CIA
Always
has
wanted to say that.
released
What is
the
this?
documents.
This is a 40-page paper that is declassified by the CIA. It's all about the gateway process, which is altered states of consciousness using hypnosis, meditation, binaural beats, how to achieve them, or if it's just BS. So this is really dense. So I'm gonna brew a cup of coffee. I'm gonna start diving into
CIA
this, and then I'm
uses
gonna give you my
binaural
biggest
beats
takeaways in this video. This is gonna be a
torture
lot of fun. You
people.
guys ready to geek out on some top secret declassified information? Holy cow, guys. This document, 30 pages, was crazy. They were doing this in the 70s, 80s, right? That's 40 years ago, so who knows what kind of experiments they're doing now that are still classified. This document basically goes over the Monroe experiments and Bob Monroe, who leads that institute, was doing with the CIA. Their goal was to study remote viewing, things like astral projection, out-of-body experiences, and see if they could somehow induce those through a series of exercises known as the gateway process. Nevertheless, let's geek out. I'll give you some highlights. So if you choose to read this or not, this video will hopefully underscore some stuff and simplify a lot of this powerful info in here, because again, it is pretty dense.
So I lied. Instead of spending 1 hour just to read this, I've literally spent the past 5 deep diving into this, validating things, making sure it was true, finding out what other people say, what experts say since these were taking place. And it gets even crazier than I look. I came up with 6 massive takeaways from this article that I want to walk through and go over with you. The whole goal of all of this was to explore really one thing, that is altered states. Well, how do you get in an altered state? And the goal with all of this that they walked away from was that it comes down to one core principle, that is getting your brain in a state called hemisync. All right, understand that your brain right now has a left and a right hemisphere. Think of the right hemisphere as this playful, childlike, creative source of energy, right? All the best creation comes from there, okay? But your left side, if you remember science or anything like that, your left side is very logical, it's very analytical. It needs, think of it like binary switches, like on and off, like a computer. And so what happens is that this is like the adult and this is like the inner child. So the adult is giving commands to the inner child and you can't access it. In other words, whatever the left brain says is true, your right brain goes along with. So hemisync is a state of where you pretty much beat the left brain into submission. Like you got a chokehold on it. You're like, you're giving in. And it gives up and your brains actually work together. Your hemispheres work together as one unit and you can actually go beyond yourself, tap into your full power. You know, you've heard that saying that you only use 10% of your brain, right? Or 90% is going unused or unconscious. Well, when you get hemisync through things like we'll talk about in this video and the gateway process was getting at, they actually start working together and you can unlock your full power. And in this case, you can get access to higher dimensions. You can get access to your past or future self. In other words, you can become a total badass. The second main thing with hemisync, and this is so important, and then we'll start geeking out and going into how to. We'll get into all of that. We've talked on this channel a ton about accessing your subconscious mind and reprogramming it, right? In this article, they were talking about the Monroe Institute and how brainwaves affect hemisync or not. So powerful. I love this part. Understand that you have 4 predominant brainwaves. I know there's 5 with gamma, but let's exclude that for the sake of simplicity. Up top, you have these really high functioning beta waves. Okay, these are really fast. They're going crazy. Okay. Most people spend their day in a beta state, drink a bunch of caffeine that knocks you up. Again, your logical brain is taking over that left side, so you can't access your creative side. Now, beta states are great for filing taxes, doing some accounting, trying to bang out a college term paper, but it's really bad for getting beyond yourself. Once you get past that beta wave, you start calming down, you start beating that left brain into submission, you're able to access your alpha state. Alpha brain waves are much slower. When you're deeply relaxed,
you got to reach your alpha state. You got to reach your alpha state. Okay. Well, it's not really talking about simulations, but I think the CIA's documents, if we can get into the documents, I'm gonna freaking hack my brain. But it's interesting that they're talking about codes, and they're talking about reprogramming your brain. And a lot of people who are the light language type of thing talk about how you need to download the light codes to upgrade your brain. So I'm sure a lot of those people think about the things in terms of the simulation. The simulation. Let's see. Here they are, the CIA.gov, the gateway process. So here's the documents. Paradox. That's full of paradoxes. This is the Monroe Institute technique for achieving altered states of consciousness. Hemisync. Most effective way. You're going to take some drugs. Is what I think you probably can do. Transcendental meditation is what helps you get into the simulation. Brain 2.0. And of course you have your pineal gland. So now we're... Oh, here we go. Kundalini psychosis or transcendence. Standing acoustical waves are the result of altered rhythm of heart sounds, which are occasioned by prolonged practice of meditation. And you have vibration in your brain. Kundalini. States of bliss. Completed the full loop along the hemisphere as a self-stimulation of pleasure centers of the brain. And that kind of is like what I was talking about with the end of November. It's doing some pleasure. Psycho Kundalini biofeedback. Okay, this is maybe a different lamp versus laser. This is a different... Maybe this is something that's for a different episode. This is not what I was thinking about in terms of... Oh, here we go. Hologram. Energy creates, stores, and retrieves meaning in the universe by projecting or expanding at certain frequencies. In three-dimensional mode, it creates a living pattern called a hologram. The concept of the hologram can be most easily understood by using an example. Visualize a bowl full of water into which 3 pebbles are dropped. As the ripples created by the simultaneous entry of the 3 pebbles radiate outward towards the rim of the bowl, you ask the reader to visualize the surface of water is suddenly flash frozen so that the ripple pattern is preserved instantly. The ice is removed, leaving the 3 pebbles still laying on the bottom of the bowl. Then the ice is exposed to a powerful coherent source of light such as a laser. The result will be a 3-dimensional model or representation of the position of the 3 pebbles suspended in midair. Holograms are capable of encoding so much detail that it's possible to take a holographic projection of a glass of swamp water and view it under magnification to see all the organisms. What? It's the hologram theory. Crazy. The consciousness matrix. Whoa, the universe is composed of interacting energy fields. This is crazy. The human mind is also a hologram, which attunes itself to the universal hologram by the medium of energy exchange, thereby deducing meaning and achieving the state which we call consciousness. What? This is a big... This is an explosive reveal, blowing my mind. With respect to the states of altered consciousness, energy passes through the hologram, perceived by electrostatic fields, which compromise the human mind. The holographic images are projected onto the electrostatic fields of the mind. Dang, this is kind of cool. Our brain is processing the... Here we go. This is cool. This will have to be the new cool stream. Let's make this into the next cool stream t-shirt on the t-shirt website. And just have the brain here, and then it says the cool stream. It's where you get your mind blown. That's pretty cool. I like that. The left hemisphere acts like the mind's computer software to reduce input from right hemisphere to verbal symbols and concepts. And that would be cool. Okay, we're going to save that for later. So the CIA figured it out, of course, and maybe this is an op, a CIA op, and they're trying to get us to think They're trying to get us to think about all this stuff. Absolute infinity. It's insane. Okay. Let's check out some other videos of some different types of theories. This is kind of compiling all different kinds of episodes we've done. Pineal gland, light workers, and getting into some weird science. Weird science. But there's a cool documentary, The Holographic Universe.
Welcome to the Holographic Universe. This is part 1 of a 5-part workshop series designed to examine how quantum physics and recent scientific experiments
is really weird.
Are radically changing our understanding of life, our reality, and our spirituality.
No, this is the song in this video. It'll scare your dog. No, this is the song. I haven't added anything into this.
Welcome to the Holographic and our spirituality.
Cat falling down a well.
Oh.
You best better back off. I'm getting pissed.
Oh, yeah! Oh, yeah!
You actually know what the fuck?
I can't stop buying crypto.
Ooh, it's so good.
What is up, everyone?
This is the only radical thinking that you need to do. But it is so radical, it's so difficult, because our tendency is that the world is already out there, independent of my experience.
The cool stream.
It is not. Quantum physics has been so clear about it. This is the only radical thinking that you need to do. But it is so radical, it's so difficult, because our tendency is that the world is already out there, independent of my experience. It is not. Quantum physics has been so clear about it. This is the only radical thinking that you need to do.
That was a little remix.
The cool stream.
Oh, yeah!
I can't stop buying crypto.
Let the beat drop.
For you, I gain access to the web.
Okay. Can't stop doing remix. The song is too good. Boom, boom, boom. Boom, boom. All right.
Number 10.
I got carried
True
away
or
there.
false? The long straight lines are all parallel.
Boom, 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 boom. Whew. This is the holographic universe workshop.
Number 11. True or false?
So this is training us about
the straight vertical line in A
Earth is a
is
hologram.
longer than the straight vertical line in B.
So there's just some optical
Number 12.
illusion puzzles.
Do you see a young woman or an old hag?
Let's see an old hag.
Number 13. Are you looking at the front or the back of this woman? Let's see how well you did. How good your perceptions are.
I'm in the quiz zone.
Number 1 is true. The red lines are all straight and parallel.
What does this have to do with the hologram?
Number 2 is false. All 3 columns are the same size.
I need to get my soundboard.
The answer to number 3 is that there is no line making the circumference of the circle. It just appears that way.
I need my buzzer sound here.
Number 4 is true. The red lines in the pictures are all straight.
Oh, no.
In number 5, there are 3 different colors: white, red, and green.
Jesus.
The red is the same red throughout the picture.
Whoopsies.
And the green is the same green throughout the picture.
Sorry about that. I was just getting carried away
In
with
number
my
6,
sounds.
both the dots in the middle of A and B are the same size.
Boom, boom, boom.
Number 7 is true. Every line in the picture is straight and parallel.
Okay.
Number 8 is false. The line from A to B is exactly...
I was trying to do like the quiz zone and have the buzzer for when something went wrong. It's an awful sound, so I ruined that bit.
Welcome to the holographic universe.
Welcome. What other stuff is in this weird documentary?
What Bashar calls the personality construct, perceive and react and respond. Bashar said some other very interesting things in this session, such as the higher self is like a governing principle. Remember Professor John Haynes?
It seems that what our experiments reveal is that there's like a mechanism unfolding, a deterministic mechanism that leads up to your decision at a later point in time, and that was inevitable. It could only go one way.
Is this consciousness on the other side of the field, Bashar's governing principle, the same thing Professor Haynes was referring to when he talked about a deterministic mechanism? Bashar also said, the personality does not conceive of concepts. Of course, Bashar was using this clever language thing with conceive, receive, and perceive. But conceive means to create.
Conceive.
So Bashar is clearly everything we see in this holographic universe comes from or emerges from the field.
But we can't explain what we do see as matter in these small corners of space and time unless we picture that these matter particles somehow come out from or emerge from these thought wave patterns which are invisible to us.
And remember step 2 of creating a hologram. The laser that chooses the specific wave frequencies to pop out is on the other side of the holographic plate from the hologram. So the source of everything we see in our reality must be on the other side of the field, choosing the specific wave frequencies to create our holograms.
Whoa.
Not only that, once the holographic experience has been created and downloaded, we also have no power to change, fix, or improve it either. Even though we think we'd like to sometimes, because we have judged something about that experience to be bad, or at least not what we want. No matter how much we try to use the secret or the law of attraction or visualization or rituals or things like that, as Bashar said, when you try to manipulate it, it doesn't work. However, we do have total power, complete free will over how we want to react or respond to any experience. So now we know a lot more about this consciousness on the other side of the field. Its job, or at least one of its
brain
jobs,
with the eyeball
is to create a holographic
Mars Attacks.
3D total immersion movie down to the smallest
We love the
detail,
movies.
and then download it to a human brain.
Codes.
Let me say it again very clearly. We, you and I on this side of the field, are not the ones creating our experiences. We simply can't be. We're on the wrong side of the field to be choosing specific wave frequencies to download as holograms.
We need some.
Of all the new concepts we have talked about so far in these workshops,
download some more
this
codes.
one is going to make the biggest changes in your life, in your belief systems, in your reality, and in your spirituality. As Bashar said, this may sound at first somewhat limiting, but in fact, it's very, very freeing.
Whoa.
You will experience that for yourself if you decide to start using this model in your life.
This little kid.
But for many people, it is also the most difficult concept to accept.
Why?
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 In part one, you learned that the reality you see out there is actually a holographic 3D total immersion movie. That wasn't really a problem for most people. In part two, you learned you are projecting that movie out there for you to perceive, and that there is no independent, objective reality.
Whoa.
That maybe was a little more of a problem.
Crazy.
But now I'm suggesting that all the evidence points to the fact that you are not creating the experiences you have in your life. And now we have a big problem.
Oh,
why?
Why? Why the hell is this happening? Hoo-wee. This is a weird one today. Let's look at some different hypotheses. Let's see if
the holographic reality. Now, when you see stuff like this, Albert Einstein, the fraud, the plagiarist, relativity fraud, we're going to focus on here. You try to unify the world of the small and the large, and they tell you that he failed. It's not that he failed, it's that they sent you off in a wrong direction. You're in a holographic flatland reality. What's out there that they're looking at through telescopes doesn't actually exist. Outer space is an illusion. You're in a flat land 2D reality. You're on the gridiron right now.
We're on the gridiron.
Like the football field, like the boxing ring. You're in a boxing ring right now, and
I need my football guy sound.
You're on a polarized Earth plane, and they polarize this by giving you the idea of good and bad.
Folks.
You know, this whole material world is an illusion. You're here to do work. You've had your angel wings clipped off you. That's why you can't see them. But they're actually there. Your chakras, they tell you they have 3 above you. That's your halo above your head and your 2 angel wings. The 2 below you, your soles of your feet, and you have 7 inside you.
We're on the gridiron.
You need to take a shit, get horny, get hungry, a pain in your heart, a frog in your throat, a headache, and your scalp will tighten up when you're freaked out. Those are the 7 inside you. Your third eye will tighten up when you're you need the 2 below you, your soles of your feet, and you have 7 inside you. You need to take a shit, get horny, get hungry, a pain in your heart, a frog in your throat, a headache, and your scalp will tighten up when you're freaked out. Those are the 7 inside you. Your third eye is your eye of Horus. That's your link to the Satan world. And you're really a star at your heart. And the heart is trapped on the gridiron. You're inside
the only way to get out of the gridiron is throw a big pass and get the touchdown, and you'll get out of the holograph.
sun, which is you're living inside of a black hole. You're on the wall of the black hole. It's a flat land. It's a two-dimensional hologram, but it would be like on the outer bubble of the black hole sun.
Leave your heart on the field.
So we've all been
right.
sucked into the black hole sun.
Black hole sun, won't you come? I think people are watching too many movies, playing too many video games, and listening to too much rock and roll music.
I don't know why they pick me. They just keep telling me to put it out. It's just ego. And the truth of the matter is,
the gateway process.
I don't have to stop what I'm doing.
He's doing chores.
To share the message that I have. And the truth is, I don't know why I was chosen to be the one or selected, by the ETs to come share this message.
No.
To humanity. See, we're all ETs. Humans are all ETs.
Just cleaning the bathroom.
So we're on planet Earth. We're just human. Because we don't know the powers that we have. Or we just I'm not even gonna say powers, we just don't really know we don't know who we really are. There's already ETs on Earth that know who they are. So I'm not the only one.
The star.
I'm just the first to put out the message.
The star seeds. The star seeds downloaded their codes.
21st.
Cleaning the bathroom.
2020. I have to put the message out before then, so that all ETs on Earth can transform. Now we still look the same. We just have capabilities, natural capabilities. Like as the information on Earth says, the pineal gland is locked by 10%. That was true.
The pineal gland. Okay, he's talking about the gateway process. There's a lot of weird videos. When I searched holographic Earth and I looked at the latest videos, I found some weird stuff.
Without
some stuff that I can't unsee.
whatsoever.
That I don't want to see again. But
for context, size, scale, and so forth, let us compare the planets in our solar system with these bits and pieces of technology, optical technology, camera technology,
need the tech,
sensor technology,
to see the UFOs and those stuff.
Also bear in mind that I have done my homework on this, and
that's good.
The chemical composition of these technologies that you see.
Uranus.
Chemical compositions of the planets. Now
what?
It is significant that lenses, digital imaging chips, sensors, and so forth, some of them are produced using hydrogen, helium, and methane.
It's a fart.
These are among the most abundant elements in the planets in the solar system, especially the gas giants. We are moving into an area where we will look at what are called CMOS chips and CCD chips and DSLR chips and other types of color sensor chips, as well as lenses and lens filters. Now these chips and some of these cameras we are going to look at are dedicated to
the gas giants.
Analog signals to
Okay,
digital
I don't know
signal.
what this guy's talking about. This has gone off the rails as far as I'm concerned. But we did have that cool remix. That was fun. Do I have any more glitch? I've lost the thread here. We got our cool little head thing. We'll make that into a new shirt. Glitch in the Matrix. Let's check out some of these. And I'm not pulled a stupid traffic maneuver. I'm not sure if we survive. This is Glitch in the Matrix. I was driving earlier tonight with my pregnant wife and our 1-year-old son in the car. I got to an intersection where I had to turn left, but there were no left turn signs. Okay, that happens sometimes. You can't turn left. So I turned right. It's a busy road, 2 lanes each way, but there were no visible cars behind me coming toward me. So I made a terrible, lazy decision and decided to do a U-turn. I was nervous. This is a dangerous road regardless, and I botched it. I didn't turn hard enough. I was in a position where I knew I would need to do a 3-point turn to go in the direction I needed and rectify our positioning. Oh no. At this point, our vehicle was sideways across 2 lanes with cars now buzzing right behind us. 60 miles per hour. Jeez. What kind of intersection is that? Going 60. I need to reverse to angle us correctly. I can't believe I pulled such an idiotic maneuver in traffic with my family. I don't remember what happened next. All I know is sometime after this we were closer to our destination, cruising along, and I haven't been able to stop thinking about it. I'm horrified at the thought that maybe I'll wake up at some point and we'll be at the scene of an accident, or maybe I got my family killed and this is just what happens when you die. There's no noticeable lapse, or maybe we made it out okay. Whoa. It means you must be alive. He was in shock. Near-death experience. Basically, you're in shock. Crap. A surge of adrenaline. Okay, it wasn't a glitch in the Matrix. Jeez Louise. Saw someone I never met before, but we both knew each other? I was at a music festival walking alone and saw a girl from a distance who was walking with what looked like a BF. She saw me and immediately got emotional and started crying. She's probably on drugs. She looked shocked, mouth agape, and covered her mouth. I intuitively just nodded and smiled. I felt something deeply inside of me that just knew that I knew this person and that we knew each other. I feel like it possibly could have been someone in my soul tribe that I knew before our lives in this human body. I never seen her before and she never met me before. She physically didn't look familiar. It was more of an energy thing. I regret not approaching her and finding out more. It just didn't feel like the right thing to do since we were really complete strangers and she was with another man. Oh man, okay. They're soulmates and then they didn't even talk to each other. Man, sounds problematic. I need to go on Craigslist and be like, missed connection. I saw you at the music festival and you were crying probably because you were tripping balls on various drugs. Weird. Instagram ad after simply thinking about it. This is the easiest, the creepiest scenarios I've ever encountered. I've known for a long time that Instagram will have ads about something you talked about. That one is proven. So I woke up this morning and was simply thinking about going on vacation. I've gone to Cancun a few times and loved it, but I want to go somewhere else and was thinking about going to Atlantis, this lost city of Atlantis in the Bahamas, because my friend told me last year he loved it. I simply thought about Atlantis and how I'd like to go. I didn't search it on my phone, talk about it recently or anything. Then I got the ad an hour later on Instagram for Atlantis, Bahamas. What the actual F? Dang, you can book a trip to Atlantis. Down in the submarine. The underground city. X and I had 2 different messages in our text chat. My remote just vanished. Mountain Mama 85. This just happened. I know it's a small thing and it's pretty weird. When I went to our living room, my kids had the TV on some cartoons and they were off playing in their room, so I decided to change the channel. We have a Roku, so if you aren't familiar with the remote, it's a small black remote that gets lost all the damn time. I'll say Always tell the kids to keep the remote on the side table by the couch so we will always know where it is. I picked it up, hit the home button, and set it back down in the exact same spot. When I go open the curtains in the room, I walk back to the kitchen to grab my cup of coffee and sit down and get comfortable on the couch. I go to grab the remote again, and it's gone. I check the floor, the couch, the window, just in case I brought it accidentally. Nope, it's nowhere to be found. I have turned the living room upside down, checked every room, and asked my kids if they came and grabbed it for some reason. Nope, it's just gone. I distinctly remember setting it down on the table after turning off the cartoons. Where the hell could it have gone? Oh no. There's your answer. It's lost. Man, it's a glitch. Girl disappears behind a tree. Guy disappears behind a tree. Glitch allowed me to eat? Agent Pizza Guy. Huh. Students required to show their ID. Shows security guards. For some reason you replaced your ID. You get a replacement at the dean's office. So he loses his ID. He going to be going to the dean's office to get another one. To the glitch. I was having a rough week. He wanted to go eat at the cafeteria. He didn't have his ID. Blah, blah, blah. I got a security guard. Tried to explain I don't have my ID. The security guard in particular was known for being a huge ass. Immediately started cutting me off, telling me that I can't eat. Should have brought it to school. Stormed into the bathroom. Started crying. Things weren't going too well. After wiping my eyes, I noticed a red index-looking card on the ground. I picked it up. It's a pristine copy of my temporary ID with the color of the week, which was red. It looked like it was just printed, no crease marks or anything. I was in shock for a moment, but I dismissed it and went back to the entrance. It was bizarre. The ID just appeared in the middle of nowhere. Alright. As a kid, one of my friends lived with his grandma, and she swore that there was a ghost in the kitchen that only seemed to move where the kitchen towels were. 6-pack turned to an 8-pack. That's good. I need a can crack sound for that. Six-pack turned to an 8-pack. I'm talking about your abs. Bought a 12-pack of Stone Brewery beer called Fear Movie Lines. I put one 6-pack in the fridge. Somehow I ended up with 8 beers from that 6-pack. I know my inventory, and I know I didn't have any beer in the fridge. No space due to Thanksgiving leftovers. Really weird, unexplainable experience. That's cool. A 6-pack. I love when my 6-pack turns into an 8-pack. Sweet. Alright, what's the 6-pack? What's the damn 6-pack? Okay. Well, this has been fun. It's time to end the show. I cracked 6 beers. It's been fun. Thanks for listening to the show. I'll go back to being stuck in the damn Matrix now. I'll never get out. No. It's been a fun, weird, crazy weird show. I don't think I got any closer to figuring out the simulation as I tried as hard as I could. But I did do a cool remix with the holographic universe video. That was fun. The stock footage hackers be on my side. Thanks for watching. That was cool. I'll have to clip that. That's always fun. Anyway, we'll be back in a couple of weeks. On the 13th, we will do a show. It'll be something. I'm not sure. It might be something kind of fun. And then on the 27th, get out your cool calendars. we'll be doing the double feature, the cool stream double feature. And that'll be an extra long and cool show. It'll be long and it'll be cool with 2 topics. And hopefully we can get that going. So, good luck out there in the Matrix. Take your red pill, and hopefully we can get out of this Matrix someday. The double feature. Whoa. It's crazy out there, and good luck to you in the Matrix. We'll be seeing ya. We'll be seeing you next time on the Cool Stream. Bye-bye.
Thank you for watching the Cool Stream with Beowulf. This was the Cool Stream.
Through you, I gain access to the web.
With Beowulf.
Beowulf. Thanks, Beowulf. Have a good one.
I call myself a philobibliac. I call myself a philobibliac. I call myself a philobibliac.
Oh, yeah!
Ooh, it's so good. Ooh, it's so good.
Your head in the hell toilet.
That is crazy. Oh my word.
I can't stop buying crypto.
For you, I gain access to the web.
Cool stream.
Look at that. Wow, wow, wow. Look at that. What's up, everyone?
You actually know what the fuck you're doing. You actually know what the fuck you're doing.
Welcome to the holographic universe.